My background is in professional marketing, and I've worked in London, Liverpool and Nottingham, and so therefore I've met a lot of people along the way. And previously people have asked me if I know someone who could help them with, or could I put them in touch with somebody. And very, very light-heartedly, a couple of people have said, you should make a business out of this. And they say, do what you're good at. So apparently this is what I'm good at. So I started the Catena network. We have meetings quarterly. In the regions that we're operating in at the moment, so predominantly the East Midlands, but just starting in Bristol and Bath, about to launch into Cardiff, and there have been a few meetings in London as well. So there will be eventually at least one meeting a month, so all members can go along to any of them. As a micro business, this is just me, and it's growing. It's grown really well and really quickly, and I'm very proud of what's been achieved so far. But I actually need a lot of help to help me with the admin, with the number of people who want introductions to each other. Since February, I've had a lady who's been able to help me, but obviously I've only got a limited amount of income that I can pay her. But since February, she's made 300 email introductions for me, and that's obviously going to grow, so I need some more people that are able to help me. And what I'm looking to do is to engage with sole practitioner businesses, sole traders, people who are just starting up their businesses and startups, and obviously need the help that I did when I started. And to also look to engage with interns within universities who've got a skill that either I or member businesses can use, that gives them a stage and a platform to start engaging with potential employers for them, and also to start that very important networking process.
Crowdfunding, or as it's sometimes known, peer-to-peer funding, is effectively a phenomenon of the last 3 years, where small businesses, start-up businesses who are increasingly finding it hard to find capital from what we call traditional funding routes, have used these crowdfunding platforms to generate interest in their business and generate funds for their business. Primarily, there are 3 types of crowdfunding. At the top, as it were, you've got organisations who are looking actually to give away swap crowdfunding for equity, and the platforms exist where organisations can raise, in some cases now, over £1 million, but they're giving away equity in their business. Second tier is the lending levels of crowdfunding, where a large number of investors in small amounts of money group together and invest in an enterprise. Again, you can now look at crowdfunding on a lending platform where you can look several £100,000 are being loaned to organisations, and they're paying fairly typical commercial rates, but they're not having to jump through some of the strictures that a bank might put on a loan, or an external venture capitalist might put on a loan, whereby they're tying too much of the business up into covenants and so on. The third type of crowdfunding is effectively rewards-based crowdfunding, very much in the space of social enterprise, the arts and crafts and those sorts of areas. And by reward funding, what effectively an individual is doing who is providing the crowdfunding is getting an exchange of value based around access to a theatre show, getting their name on the side of the Catena Formula One car, for example, or getting access to a service or a club for a period of time based upon how much money they've effectively donated. They don't get that money back, they don't get a commercial rate of return on that money, but they will get some value. In some cases, I've seen it as simple as they get a t-shirt, because the organisation's a t-shirt printing company, and that's all they've got to give to get the money. And so typical crowdfunding in the reward space, social enterprises, and usually smaller amounts of money people are looking for. The Catena Network is a business matchmaking and networking organisation based in the East Midlands that's looking to expand its activities across the UK to join businesses up on a networking basis in multiple regions. And that's an unusual approach and a different approach, and just needs a relatively small amount of money to bring that to fruition. We're looking effectively at Catena to get a couple of additional resources on board to manage these events once they come outside the East Midlands, of course. It takes longer to organise an event and to get things up and running, and ideally bring in some interns to actually manage that process, learn about business as they do it, and then actually attend events and meet business people who may be offering them further opportunities, apprenticeships, who knows, even jobs. So the idea around that is to raise funds on crowdfunder.co.uk, which is the leading funding mechanism for rewards-based crowdfunding. For this opportunity on crowdfunder.co.uk for Catena, we're looking at 3 levels of investment. The £150 investment effectively will get you a year's membership to a regional Catena networking group. If you're providing us with £350, then you'll be getting a annual membership to the nationwide Catena networking group, and for £600 you become a foundation member, which effectively is a lifetime membership of Catena, and you can obviously keep that for as long as you are wishing to do so. Anybody who gives any money at all, however, from £10 upwards, will be entered into a free prize draw for T20 tickets of their choice. We get involved by looking at crowdfunder.co.uk, and there is a link on the screen below me now. Hit that link and you'll hear all about the Catena network, all the methodology of how you can invest in the business and claim your rewards.